My Patreon supporters got to see early previews and work-in-progress shots of this figure as I made it. If you want to join them, all you gotta do is donate as little as $1. The link is in the description below. So, we are continuing my commission for Patreon supporter Ryanic. This time he wanted the third echidna sibling, Julie Sue. Now, I did make a Julie Sue a long time ago, but back then I didn't really do her backstory because it wasn't a thing I did. So let's do it right now. Julie Sue was born to the Grand Master of the Dark Legion, Luger. I don't know what kind of name Luger is, but it is the leader of the Dark Legion, apparently. She was a daughter of his second wife, Mary Sue, who was assassinated by her older brother and sister, and raised by Florin Ka and Simon, another pair of Legion members, before her memory was erased of them as well, and she basically just lived as a soldier in the Dark Legion for a while, until the fateful day that she met Knuckles. She felt a strong lure to him for some reason, which later turned out to be the Soul Touch. Apparently, they were some kind of destined couple, because echidnas can sense the one that they're going to spend their lives with somehow. After hooking up with Knuckles, she just really couldn't return to the Dark Legion, so she ended up becoming a member of the Chaotix, where she remained for pretty much the bulk of her run in the comic. I mean, giving a specific run of everything she did would leave us here all day, but suffice to say that she was a pretty important character in the comic for a very, very long time. She even was used as a plot device to explain how Amy could become a good fighter, and that she actually trained her. And they even tried to get some kind of stupid love triangle going on between Rouge and Knuckles with her, but that didn't really catch on, and I'm actually quite thankful for that because it was pretty stupid. When Knuckles turned into Enerjack, he did try to remove her cybernetics like he did for the Dark Legion, but he was stopped from doing so, because the whole don't violate just in one kind of thing, so she got to stay a cyborg. Not that she really has that many cybernetics. I think it was just her dread and implied some small cybernetics in other parts of her bodies. But really, I think that thing on her left arm was just armor, not so much that she had a cybernetic left arm. At least that's what I always figured. Unfortunately, just like all the other echidnas, she fell fate to the Tasmanian Devil's tyranny, and she was wiped away from existence or banished to another zone or whatever. Again, that was a result of the Penders lawsuit, which, is another reason why we don't really like Penders. But wait, there's more! Before the Penders suit kicked in, we got that wonderful 25 years later story arc, where we got to see what became of her. Yes, in the 25 years later arc, when Julie Sue would be somewhere between 39 and 42, if my math is right, we actually got to see her all grown up. So she had a daughter with Knuckles, as we all know, Lara Sue, and from what we understand, she was a devoted wife and a loving mother. So yeah, all wonderful. And oh yeah, she was also totally, totally hot. Yeah, the 25 years later arc was in that magic timeline when we had reached peak Anthro in the Sonic art style, where they had pretty much completely abandoned the cartoony style of the video games and just went full on, human proportions. And I do believe that it is during this story arc that a lot of younger Sonic fans were introduced to the term MILF for the first time. Well, I said that, and I can't unsay it, so let's go ahead and start making the toy before you guys start to think about that too much. The base figure for Julie Sue is pretty much silver, although I would use Knuckles' head, seeing here all dismantled. Every component of silver would be used except for the head. So just like I did with Lian Da, I cut off the masculine echidna muzzle that Knuckles comes with and sculpted on a more feminine one, and I also sculpted on Julie Sue's distinct hair, And again, I used my 3D pen to make that little bit of technical greeble on her cybernetic dreadlock. The body is just like many other female figures, silvers carved into a curvier shape, with her delightfully 90s asymmetrical vest put on. Because as we all know, in the 1990s, comic book characters couldn't have symmetrical clothing. It was like some kind of law. She also seemed to favor the Dark Legion's three-fingered mitten, where the index finger is kept separate from the rest of the hand. It's just sculpting over the fingers on Silver's hands and then painting up the arms. Again, one is silver because of the armor she wore, and the other is bare because, again, 90s asymmetrical armor. And the legs are just a straight-up repaint, so let's just go ahead and take a look at the completed figure. So, and here she is. Her head looks a little bit hued, but that's just what happens when you impose the actual video game proportions onto a character that primarily appeared in the comic books, which had a slightly different but still distinct art style. Since she doesn't exist in the post-Super Genesis wave, she didn't get to be seen as part of the whole making the characters look more like the, video game counterparts. I wonder if they would have had to give her pants, because she's one of those characters that doesn't wear pants, and you know how female characters in Sonic games tend to wear full clothes because you can't have naked women running around. No, only men are allowed to be naked. Don't you have any common sense? Yep, that is the Julie Sue figure, all nice and completed, showing off her asymmetrical design, which is so distinct for the character. And, why not? Let's have a full-on group shot of the three Echidna siblings, because we need to have the world's most messed up family photo, don't we? And, it's kind of funny how tall Lian Da came out, but, that's just because Wave's buck is a little bit longer than the rest. Alright, so, that is Julie Sue for Ryanic. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.